Okay, while we have the other series going on at the same time as this, that's a little bit more serious, let's do a cute, short, and sweet BL series. Even Sun. This show stars Boone and Prim, and I absolutely love this pairing while watching the show. Matter of fact, I may even do a video on just Boone and Prim's episode of Seven Project, and dare somebody to tell me I'm wrong. Now, you may be wondering, why this show? It's not one of the best BLs, nor is the quality that good, and the subtitles are just horrendous, like they're so off. Also, the plot may be a little bit half-baked. The simple reason is because I want to. Like I said, I like Boone and Prim, and right now I'm in their season. Also, it's only 6 episodes. It's not hurting anyone. So let's jump right into it. Why, when I first saw this orange-haired boy, I said, he kind of favors Jimin of BTS. Call me crazy, but I see what my eyes saw. Anyway, this episode starts out with Sun, i.e. the orange-haired boy, who looks like Jimin, is a very cute but very useless debt collector who never seems to be able to collect any money from the debtors. His friend Meek, who is also a debt collector, decides to help Sun collect from the debtors. And when he goes and does it himself, he does it effortlessly, like without even trying. People just throw the money at Meek. After the 2 boys go to their boss to turn in their money they collected, before going to the boss, they run into the boss's son, Ashing, who is practicing his boxing. We learn that Ashing's dad built the boxing ring, but it wasn't to let Ashing actually box. It's just to appease what his father thinks is a little bit of habit. In fact, the boss refuses to let Ashing compete in any boxing matches. And here we can appreciate Ashing's nice little muscles, but that's not totally why we're here. We're here for Boone Prim, so let's scurry on to meet the rest of our characters. So their boss, aka Ashing's daddy, is a little old mafia man, and he tells them that they have a new co-worker named Tai. Right off the bat, Sun and Tai are not too fond of each other. And Tai also he just looks like a bad guy. He looks like an asshole, to be honest, okay? Perfect for the job. Then boss gets right to business. He asks the boys, hey, where's my money? And Meek gives him the money. Then, because the boss is so used to his workers, he knows Sun and he knows Meek. He asks Meek and Sun, who collected this money? Who got this money? Meek, being an absolute great friend, immediately says that Sun was the one who collected the money. But, of course, the boss does not believe it, and he asks them again. He's like, I'm going to ask y'all one more time. Who got this money? They ended up telling him the truth, and this just further establishes how bad Sun's reputation is at the job. So the boss tells Sun, if you don't get your shit together, then I'm going to replace you with Tai, and then you, Sun, will be out of a job. At this, Tai smirks, a cocky little shit, ain't he? He is horrible. He just looks like an a-hole. And to make matters worse, the boss just embarrassed the heck out of Sun in front of, everybody, including the new guy. So I didn't think that was particularly right or nice. In the next scene, we see Sun is kind of bummed out, and he and Meek are sitting by the river. And Meek notices that Sun keeps sighing and huffing, and then he stands up on the edge of the little banner, or the what's it called, the edge right before you get to the river, and he faces the river. Meek is like, oh, okay, this is funny, and he tells Sun, are you gonna jump? Motioning into the river, are you gonna jump? Are you gonna do it? Clearly just making fun. Clearly he knows his friend is not going to jump. But he does know that his friend is bummed out about the job and Tai coming to work there. Then, as they are speaking on Tai and just everything that happened that day, guess who walks by? None other than Tai. And then he goes to them talking shit about how Meek is about to be his new partner, clearly aiming to provoke Sun, and it does the job. Word of advice for Tai, though, this is a horrible way to try to make friends on a new job. You go in there provoking people. No, sir. What, are you trying to kiss ass to the boss? We don't like a kiss ass tie. Then Son gets home and his dad is waiting for him by the kitchen table with an envelope. Guess what? He tells his son to go collect a 10 million baht debt for him. Initially, Son tells his father no, he doesn't want to do it, but his father is like, I'll call the police on you. And I was just like, that's the randomest shit to say to your son. Like, I'm gonna call the cops if you don't do this. That was very random to me. A son said, I didn't do anything wrong. And he puts his dad on blast. He's like, plus, Dad, you play the casino slots online. Okay? Talk about how he gambles. So they both have their vices. I guess he'll call a cop on Son because Son's a debt collector. And Son said, okay, well, you have your vices too. You gamble, bitch. Then, of course, as some parents do, his dad helps him with that guilt trip. You don't want to see your dad bankrupt, do you? So this makes Son decide to go begrudgingly collect the debt. The next day, we see the boss tell Son exactly where he has to go to get the debt for his father, and it is an island far away. Immediately, Son begins to complain about how far away it is, and Ty is like, okay, well, just let me go. Clearly, I'm more capable than Son. And I'm just like, okay, why the hell is Ty there in the room? And on top of that, he's just instigating stuff like, go home, sir. But don't you have a job to do? Don't you have some basic training that you need to do on a computer somewhere? Anyway, the boss is like, no, I need someone I can trust. And Ty is immediately offended. Like, okay, you don't trust me? But the boss adds in that this is also Son's dad's money. Let Son do it. And also, Son needs to prove himself. And the boss reiterates, if Son does not do it, if he does not collect this money for his father, he's fired. Don't come back. I think that's actually a good proposition. Like, Son better get his stuff together, because if you're bad at a job, they ain't gotta keep you. Next scene, we see Ashing, and he is about to start his boxing session and his training, but he runs into this cute, tall, handsome little guy listening to music and zoned out. So Ashing goes and pulls one of the guy's earbuds out because he was calling him and the guy wasn't responding. They look at each other and they look like they're about to fight. Then Ty steps in and explains who the boy is that had the earphones in. He is the son of one of the debtors, and he is there to work and repay his debt to Ashing's father, i.e. the boss. Speaking of Ashing's dad, he comes in and he tells Ashing and the new boy that the boy has to do whatever Ashing says. Clearly, the boss doesn't know what to do with the new guy, so he's just pawning him off on Asher, saying basically, you gotta serve him, buddy. So that's the way he's gonna pay off his dad debt. So he lets Ashing deal with the new boy. He's like, look, he's yours. But the boy and Ashing literally was about to fight over what? Absolutely nothing. Asher said he didn't want the boy as his servant. And I get it. Like, you don't want somebody who's sitting there, like, clearly you don't like fussing with you. And he had an attitude, and now he got a... Ugh, gross. In my opinion, and yours too, you know that this was just a ploy to sit there and have Ashing and a new boy get together so they can fall in love later. Of course. So later, Son, Meek, and Ashing go out to eat, leaving Ty behind, even though he clearly asked to go. Once at the restaurant, Meek wanted to go with Son to the island to get the debt, just to help his friend out. Like, he is such a great friend, Meek. He wants to make sure that his friend doesn't get fired from his job, and he'll have his buddy to hang with. But truly, that is not fair to Meek. Also, Ashing and Meek, they're both like, you're crazy for going, and you aren't going to get 10 million baht from that guy. They tell him, remember when you were younger, you couldn't even collect 10 baht from this little kid who was on the playground. We needed to help you. Yo, that's sad. The debt collector spirit is just not in Son, okay? And then there's a cute little flashback of when they were all kids, showing how Ashing and Meek had to help baby Son and get his money back from a bully. Then, of course, motherfucking Ty shows up at the restaurant being creepy. Like, dude, leave them alone and if there's going to be a friendship with you and those three, one, you need to change your attitude. But two, let the friendship happen naturally and don't force it. He's just everywhere. And to be honest, I don't think his presence at the restaurant at that moment served any purpose. This starts the journey to Athit Island to collect the debt for Son's father. And the trip already starts out wrong. The boat to Athit Island had already left, And the girl told him that if he asks the guy, like that's the boat captain, to take him, maybe he'll be able to catch up with the Athit Island boat. But it doesn't go as planned. So Sun tries to go over there and ask the captain, who is the other main character. We'll get to him later. He is putting bottles of water onto his boat. They're preparing to leave, but he completely ignores Sun and Sun's request to take him to the boat. The boat leaves without Sun, and Sun thinks that the man is so rude. He thinks the captain is an ass. To be honest, though, I don't know why Athit, I think that's his name, Athit, ignores him in this scene. I mean, he acts nicely, and then he even offered to pay, and I don't even think Sun was being rude, or did I miss something? But I love how Sun is just standing there shouting insults at the boat after the boat already left. So, since he traveled more than halfway there, naturally, Sun needs a place to stay the night. He goes to look for a hotel. The man at the counter of the hotel is like, "Are you afraid of ghosts?" Naturally, Sun says no. In fact, he says the ghosts are actually scared of him. And I'm just like, Lord, he's scared of ghosts at this point. Clearly from his face, you can see that he is terrified. And I don't know why the man at this counter is so creepy. Why do they have creepy people in this show? It's crazy. So the hotel room, when he gets in there, is kind of average. Then suddenly Sun starts getting knocks on the door, but no one was there whenever he answered the door. And no one was even down the hall either way. Clearly no one could run that fast if they just knocked on the door because the hallways were long. So after a few times this happens, Sun runs downstairs screaming like a big kid, i.e. he's very scared of ghosts. When Sun gets to the counter, he's begging to change rooms. And there's a guy who's about to check in, and the man at the counter was like, "Hey, you could try to switch with this dude, but he's getting less room." And the boy was like, "Well, I don't want a ghost room." Anyway, all that to say, him and the boy decide to share a room together. And this boy's name is Nemo. Nemo's going to be a character in the show, okay? He just so happened to be going to the same island as Sun as well. So Sun practically begs Nemo to take him to the island with him. He is so desperate to get to this island because he needs to get that money. Then, while begging Nemo, he realizes that Nemo's face kind of looks familiar, but he just can't quite place it. The next day, they're out waiting for the boat, and the coast that they're on is so beautiful. And then, the person who's their ride arrives, and guess who it is? The boat captain from the other day. The same guy who left Sun high and dry. The guy that Sun was yelling at because he left him. Yep, that's the guy. And Nemo just so happened to be very familiar with the boat captain. And Sun is shocked. That is where episode 1 leaves off. So guys, that's the first episode. It's more of an introductory episode. Even though there's only 6 episodes, the main thing is that we get the main couple, or main soon-to-be couple, and already they're meeting on bad terms. And look how dreamy Boone is. And Prim reminds me of G-Man so much with his cute self. I like this little mini-series, okay? So let's just go ahead and see what the bars are doing in episode 2.